Hi there, welcome to The Beaten Trail, and in this episode we are going to share our experience on the St. Clair Trails to Town run. Now, this was a charity run. You registered, and really if the weather wasn't that bad we would have had a bigger turnout. It was quite wet, but was a great event put together by Famous Redding Outdoors. Now, before we get into that, I wanted to share with you, we have a new sponsor. This is Evolution Power Sports in Reading, Pennsylvania, so please look them up. They are your location for quality pre-owned off-road vehicles, as well as motorcycles and also other vehicles and parts. So give them a shout out and let them know the Beaten Trail sent you. Click the link in the video description to get some Beaten Trail apparel, from hats to shirts and many more items. So the trails that were adjacent to St. Clair are Burma. We have ridden Burma many times. You can see our video up on YouTube. Please subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos. This event was organized by Famous Redding Outdoors in the town of St. Clair. Famous Redding put the prizes out on tags randomly on the Burma trails, and this was for everybody to collect, so you'd see them as you're driving around. We did leave quite a lot up there because there was just so many of them. A lot of people really weren't riding, and there were like 200 prizes, so we didn't go crazy with them. We won a few, but it was a great experience, and the town layout was portioned off and marked off very well, and there were some basic rules which just have some common sense. Well, we got a Famous Redding cap as our first prize. We're gonna wind up taking a ride out more, and what other prizes there are. But Justin got $5 off gas, so he's gonna go ahead and get some gas. All right, over to OIP Pizza to see what we win. This is Giorgio's, right? OIP Giorgio's? I don't know. Are we in the right place? OIP. I don't know. Okay, so we won a small sub. Justin's enjoying. Yeah, it's like a slice of pizza, and definitely yummy. So we're enjoying St. Clair. The next stop was Maya's for some amazing tacos. Make sure you get there and check them out for sure.
Next stop.
In addition to Maya's, TNT Deli, Tommy's M&S, Giorgio's, and more participated.
Well, glad to see my ride is still here. It says ATV route that way, so I'm guessing that I won a bag of chips and something or other.
Now, it should be noted that there were a good amount of police officers and organizational staff in town, but once the rain hit and we hit about 2 or 3 o'clock, most of those people had moved off. So I want to say a big thanks to the police of St. Clair. They did a great job. They were very accommodating. They gave directions. There was special parking. There was routes were greatly marked with green stencil on the ground and on the pavement. And I really wish that they do this again. And I've heard some discussions that they will do this again. We had our Honda, and it was just Justin and myself. We did run into a good amount of people, maybe a dozen or two in town. I can imagine this would have been a great success for the vendors and everybody to bring all this into town. And much like Minersville does, this is a great way to bring extra business into town. Just for an example, the Sunoco, I went in, I got fuel. So it's not like there's shortage of people needing gas, but we did decide to get some fuel there. But this just brings in extra business for the town and a great awareness of, hey, this is a safe sport. You can bring these units into town for a day, and people will be able to see extra business. And I know the vendors staffed up for this. and it was just such a rainy and cold day that there weren't a lot of us out there. Big thanks to the mayor, to the police department, to Famous Reading, and everyone who spent the time out there. The fire department was there. We made sure we gave them an extra little donation and above and beyond what the event was. Pretty much it was free for members, and then a donation. Donation was optional, but it's always recommended to go ahead and really make a donation, because a lot of these smaller towns depend on the business. The fire department was really helpful. They had staff out. So just overall a great time. As you can see, the town was a bit empty when we were heading back. Nonetheless, the barricades were up to make sure that everybody was guided in the right direction, to know how to get back to the trails. We had our ride command and we had our mapping, and I do have to apologize though that the rain just got into everything. So my Insta360 was wet, my GoPros were not happy. You'll have a bunch of extra sounds that you heard on there, and it was just a wet day. And this was after we had ridden through Burma a bit, so there was some mud and water all over the place. We try to keep it clean, but I hope more towns are able to do this type of event. It helps the town, it helps the industry and the riding community, because a lot of times people are not very welcoming and open to off-road vehicles. Be loud, and sometimes the people that they see are not a great representation of the sport. This was an awesome way for us to get back out there, and we had fun. So once we did, it was right behind the Kmart, and we just went down into town and came back up. They had green arrows. It was great. Again, Famous Reading staff was there to help if you didn't know where to go or had any issues. Justin and I just took a ride back out, and we enjoyed the trails. The rain finally put a damper on everything once we had seen all the trails, and I know there's plenty of places to see. It was good and flooded. There was a lot of mud. It was just, it was a fun day. And I know that a lot of people don't like riding in the rain. We had our full enclosure with our heat and our windshield, but those will come off. We will have more of an open cabin. We use our S&B particle separator on our helmet to keep the dust out. We'll mostly be cleaning off our phone and our visor in the future. Highly recommended. I would say that if they do this again, please keep your eye out for announcements on Famous Reading. And we'll put a link up here if you're not already watching. If you're from out of the state, Famous Reading, one thing that we did want to mention, is no longer doing daily passes, which is unfortunate. So if you do come out of state, the only option you have is to buy a yearly, which I really hope that they change their mind on that, because it's going to force more people to go to AOAA and Cole Township, where you can buy as many daily passes as you want. I understand they want to push people to the yearly, and I understand that it is a staffing burden to have to issue permits, but that's what the business is all about. So I really hope that the team reconsiders and is able to open that, because it's going to keep people from out of the area from coming in. If they just want 2 or 3 days, why should they spend $225 for a yearly pass? And Famous Reading is great. We've been members for years and we do enjoy it. Here, a lot of Burma is open, and it is rocky, but not so bad. But it is a lot of open plains, and it is one of the more flat zones. And I say that because we recommend most of new members, if you're going to go to Darkwater, it's flat, but you can have some hills and mud and everything else you need. But Burma on the parking lot side is flat. You can have beginners or kids, people that are just starting out with their vehicle and they're not really fully sure of the capacity and the capability of their machine. Go to Burma. There's a lot of wide open trails, and there's big meadows with adjacent hills, so you can just stay on flat ground if you want. That's why we recommend Burma. And as you can see here, some of these roads are just open and they're bumpy and rocky, but they are a great place to start. So we highly recommend Burma. We have 2 or 3 other videos out there, reviews that will go over Burma. There's plenty of hills and plenty of off-camber and plenty of tight trails on the opposite side of the parking lot to do. I know some of the hills on the Kmart side or Walmart side have been shut down temporarily because they're doing some mining and some reclamation, but definitely check it out. I appreciate you watching. Be sure to click on our Amazon links. We thank you for watching. Share this with your friends, and we hope to see you out there on the trail. Thanks.